Oh, gosh, that's dark. Ooh, I wonder how I can get that lighter. I have most things open. I think it might just be that... sorry, I've just seen an email from someone that's amused me. I think it might just be that it's so light. So let me just check on my... more. I do like Facebook sometimes. Now is not one of those moments. Anyway, if you are here, please let me know while I try and find me. Posts. Well, I'd like to think it's under. There we are. Oh, actually, it's not too dark. Okay, so let me know that you're here. And where you're calling from, or where you're joining from, I should say. Let me just get everything working reasonably well. So we've got Jan, we've got Nora, we've got B, we've got Claire. So we should be reasonably good to go. Let me bring up my phone as well so I can see the comments, hopefully. Excellent. I want them real time would be nice. Newest. Thank you. Morning, Jackie. I should say afternoon or evening, I think, shouldn't I? Right. Okay. So first things first, it's about 30 degrees in here. We don't do... Ooh, I could put my fan on, couldn't I? We don't do air conditioning. I'm just going to go and see if I've got a fan I can put on. Let's try that. That might work. I have a ceiling fan which may... It's going very slowly at the moment. It may help. Anyway, it's about 28 actually. It's not 30. But I'm incredibly warm. It's one of those really muggy days. So those of you who are not in the UK, historically the way our weather goes when we get a summer is we either have sensible UK temperatures, which are about mid-70s, which is about mid-20s, or we have March, or we have this, which is kind of almost tropical, by which I mean it's incredibly humid. So we normally have a couple of days of really lovely weather, humid, but really lovely weather, and then we have a thunderstorm. We've had, when did this start? Friday, and it's Tuesday already. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we're on our 5th day. The weather forecast has been predicting thunderstorms since Monday morning. And what they're saying is they are going to be heavy, possibly large hailstones, and very local. Otherwise known as they don't know when they're going to happen, if they're going to happen, or where they're going to happen, but they may happen. So at the moment we are just basking. There isn't even a breeze this morning. I'm just looking at... No, there is absolutely no breeze at all. So just to add insult to injury on all this, of course my phone is now playing silly bees. Just to add insult to injury on all of this, we then had a power outage on and off yesterday, so that was fun. And then we had just trying... Morning, Elizabeth. Morning, Mary. Morning, Barbara. So our Wi-Fi cable, we're in the middle of a village in rural Oxfordshire. You'd think that being near Oxford we would have reasonable, modern things. But we have an incredibly bad BT broadband here. So there's a company that's actually based near here but works across the country who put in fibre optic broadband, which is wonderful. It is so fast. It's amazing. Until the people that are building a house at the end of our track decide to dig the cable up on a Friday afternoon. So we've had no Wi-Fi until late-ish on yesterday, because they don't work, the fibre company don't work on Saturday or Sunday, and they said we'll be out within 3 days. They've happily counted Friday, bearing in mind it was about 4:30 in the afternoon this happened. They did count Friday as a working day. Anyhow, they came out yesterday, but they did have to dig up quite a lot of cable in order to find the break, and then, or check that that was where the break was, and then put it all back together again. And because it's so dry, when they weld, because apparently you weld fibre optic back together, if there's dust, it doesn't weld, and it's really dry. And there was a breeze yesterday, so it was challenging, I think is the word I'm looking for them. So yes, so I spent yesterday packing up my thank you gifts for those of you who shopped in July, and those will be going in the post today. They're a little later than I had anticipated, but the delivery of the product for your thank you gifts only came at the back end of last week. And then we had my father staying with us all weekend, which was wonderful. So in the UK, if you have been shielding, which my father has been because he's 89 with underlying health conditions, as of the 1st of August, you were allowed to come out of shielding. Put on top of that, that if you are a single person living on their own, you can now bubble with another household. So he is now bubbling with us. He's not with us now, but it means that we can go and see him without worrying about social distancing. He can come and stay with us without worrying about social distancing. So it was really nice to have some time with him over the weekend. And because we had no Wi-Fi, and because it was such wonderful weather, we basically just spent time sitting outside, enjoying each other's company, which was tremendous. So he went back yesterday morning. And yeah, he's looking really well. He's 89 years old, but he's looking really well. So we're really pleased that we had some time with him. So yeah, so I spent yesterday packing up the thank you gifts. Now, you may have seen that this morning we are now able to get paper pumpkin. So this is the paper pumpkin that was available in North America in June, but it's one that was inspired, that's the word, by Sarah Douglas, who is our CEO. Morning, Audrey. Thanks, B. Yes, I would like to go for a lovely swim and be quite cool. So yes, so it was inspired by Sarah Douglas, and it's around sharing a box of sunshine, which I gather is an American thing, but I'm loving it. So you send a yellow box full of yellow things, I mean silly things, to somebody you are thinking of. So I have made, and I don't want to give the game away completely, but I've made mini paper pumpkin boxes for everyone who shopped with me in July, and they are full of lots of really silly things that are yellow. I bought most of the things in the last 3 weeks, including some chocolate bars. Morning, Karen. I don't know how solid they will be by the time they get to you, so I'm sorry, but it was with the best intentions. So yes, so they'll be going out today. I'm going to go to the post office this afternoon and get those in the post to you all. So they hopefully will arrive later this week. You should all have received, those of you who are existing customers, should all have received your August, December, I must not call it autumn, winter, your August, December catalogue. If for some reason you haven't, do let me know, because I have got some more to send out. All that I can send out. One of my old team members who had moved contacted me, and she's now a customer, contacted me and said hers hadn't arrived. I did send it to her new address, but for some reason it didn't arrive, so I've sent a second one out, which has arrived. It took about 3 days, even though I sent it first class, and even though the mail at the moment is supposed to be quite good. So, what else can I say? Oh, I know what I can say. Look what got. We may be using that later on. So I did a video yesterday, which, well, actually I did it on Friday when my order arrived, and because we had no Wi-Fi, it took about 3 hours to get the video from my camera to my phone, and then from my phone to my YouTube, and to then write the post. The post was not as great as they normally are. I mean, they're not normally wonderful, but yeah, it took about 3 hours. So there was at least a video yesterday. There is nothing today. I was not even able to take part in the spot challenge because I couldn't guarantee that I was going to be able to do anything. So I have not got anything to share on that, other than I will let you know later on what this week's challenge is. So I think that's all from a general chat point of view. Thank you, Karen, for sharing. I will just do a bit of housekeeping because we have to do the housekeeping. Today is Tuesday the 11th of August. It is stiflingly hot. So it's Tuesday the 11th of August. I am here doing a Facebook Live. And you know it's live because in the top left-hand corner there is a live button. Yes, that corner. It's my right hand, so it's very odd. So there is a live button. If you're watching on Facebook and there is no red live button, it's a replay. If you're watching on YouTube, it is a replay because this is a Facebook Live. So if you could bear that in mind with comments, that would be fantastic. If you share the video either from Facebook or from YouTube or from both, you get entered into the prize draw. If you share from both, you get 2 entries. And in order to share, you type the word shared with a D, so it's easy for me to pick out. I have already posted the winner for this week, and that will go live at 12 o'clock on my Facebook business page, so where you're watching this. That's pretty much it. Oh, other than to say, so the prize is product, but if you're overseas, because of the postage, oh, sorry, Audrey, because of the postage costs, I will offer you digital content instead. I've got lots of digital, well, some digital content on my website, and we can just talk about what you would like, and I can email it to you. So yes, so Audrey has just said that we can send some heat to her. She's in Scotland. It's 17 degrees with them at the moment. There's part of me, Audrey, that would like to send some of our heat your way, but yeah, part of the problem with exactly where I live, sorry, there's a plane going over. It's a little plane, so it's noisy. I will wait until it's gone. Actually, it's a helicopter, it's not a plane. Part of the problem with where we are is that we live in a kind of bowl, so we're surrounded by lowish but hills, but we are surrounded. So in the winter we get the coldest temperatures, sometimes across the whole of England, probably not Scotland, but we also get the heat kind of gets in and stays. So even if we just drive to the other side of the hill, the temperature will drop, 3 or 4 degrees centigrade. So yeah. Okay, so let's flip the camera and have a look at some stuff on my desk. So here we go. There's the ceiling. There's my ceiling fan, which is doing okay. It's definitely better than not having it at all. Right, so let me just bring that round a wee bit more. Come on, that's better-ish. And then, oh, no, we're going to have to go back. Okay, super duper. Let me just put some lights on. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Right, so the first thing I'm actually going to do is talk about Paper Pumpkin, because as I say, we have the opportunity to purchase the Box of Sunshine Paper Pumpkin from today. It's £20 and it includes everything you need for the projects other than a block. And the block they recommend is a D block. So this is the D block. If you get Paper Pumpkin in North America on a subscription, then your first box comes with a Paper Pumpkin block. Just trying to see if I've got one that I can show you. Apparently not. It's not a Paper Pumpkin block that I would be showing you. And oh, there we are. So it would be something like this. So it's not our ergonomic blocks. It's just it's a right size block. It could either be that size or it could be the thinner, as in not as bulky size. But anyway, so this box does not include a block, mostly because if you've already got a block you don't need it and it would put the cost up, frankly. So this particular Paper Pumpkin, I think from memory, makes 8 cards, but there are additional stickers and things so that you can decorate the box it comes in and turn that into a Box of Sunshine. But I thought I would show you what a box looks like. Now, one of my lovely followers, ooh, that was weird, sorry. One of my wonderful followers, my phone just decided to stop showing my video, which is kind of weird. There we go. Okay, that's better. So one of my lovely followers in the States sent me last year a couple of Paper Pumpkin boxes. This is the 6th anniversary box. Now this is slightly different from normal because it had an extra stamp set, but that was part of the celebration of it being the 6th anniversary. So the number stamp set came separately or additionally, but you get a stamp set, which obviously is good for all season, you know, for all time. You get a stamping spot. This one happened to be Poppy Parade. I believe, but don't quote me on this, I believe the one we get in the yellow box is Bumblebee, but I don't know. So stamp set, ink spot, and then obviously the tissue paper, which in this case will be yellow, and then everything you need for the projects. Now I haven't even opened this, so I'm going to pop that one back because the other one is open. It came pre-opened. I mean, the poor thing got really battered in the post, but and it literally gets a label put on the bottom when they send it out. So that was that one. This is October 2018. So again, you get tissue. You can print off, and I'm hoping we'll be able to get hold of these in the UK. You can print off a sheet to put into your a stamp case. So this again was 8 cards with black and white instructions, and again little stamp set, twine, adhesive, and then all the envelopes and die cuts and things that you need. So they're quite nice little kits. We do keep asking if/when they're going to be available on subscription outside North America, and we still keep being told there's issues with doing it, but we are trying, just so you know, we are trying. Okay, so that's just to give you an idea of what the Paper Pumpkin looks like. I have surprisingly already placed my order. I have a number coming, and on that point, anyone who orders it through me in August, it's while stocks last, so it may go into September, it may only last for a few days, who knows, and it will be available in English, German and French with different item numbers. Certainly in Europe. Outside of Europe, I think it's just available in English, maybe available in French in Canada, don't know. Anyway, so anyone who orders it through me in August, in September will be sent a PDF with some alternative projects. Obviously I can't do alternative projects until I've got mine, but I have ordered 3, so one of them I'm going to use for alternative projects. Right, okay, so today I have got 2 things planned. One is well planned and the other is not. They're using new stuff from the August-December catalogue. So the first one I'm going to use is the Life is Beautiful, and I've just realised I need to swap out one of the stamps. So it's a photopolymer stamp set, and it was a $1 Million Achiever stamp set. Can't remember for the life of me for whom, but it was. So the card I've already made, hi Mary, is this one. I haven't done a liner, oops. So it's the tree, it's the birdhouse, it's one of the sentiments, and I've used autumnal colours. So I've used soft suede and cinnamon cider for my tree, midnight moonlight for the blue in all areas, and then crumb cake here and mossy meadow here. I might actually change my soft suede for crumb cake, just for a difference. And then I use the new Banners Pick a Punch, yes, Pick a Punch from the new August-December catalogue. So I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do a more summery one. It does summer, winter and autumn. That obviously was autumn. So I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White, and I've mounted the big stamp. Actually, I'm not starting with that because I've already got it in place. I've mounted the big stamp in my Stamparatus just in case for the tree I don't get a good stamp. It's a large stamp, so you've got to have a large block, and I find with large blocks it's easier to use the Stamparatus. I will be trimming this down once I've finished the card, well, not part way through finishing the card, so that I can decide where to trim it. So I'm going to start by inking up with crumb cake. It's a sort of distinctive stamp, in that there'll be shading and things in it already. Now my stamp is, hello Emma, my ink pad is quite juicy, probably too juicy. Yeah, it's a wee bit too juicy, so you can't see all of the pattern on the stamp. If you look at the, no, that's not going to show up. Anyway, there is pattern in the stamp. Trust me, I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. It's lovely, isn't it, Karen? I think it's going to be one of those ones that I really hope will carry over, and I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed. But it is so good for all seasons. So yeah, fingers crossed it will stay past this catalogue. So that is our tree done. Then I'm going to grab, this time, Rococo Rose, and I'm going to do a more summery blossom. Again, this is quite a juicy ink pad, but it'll be fine. Now, there isn't really a kind of anywhere to stamp it place. It's not lining up specifically with anything. So it's just a kind of put it roughly where you think it should be and stamp. And then you can use your second generation to add in some more colour, just a wee bit more. And then again, over this side, we can add and then stamp again. So it just fills it in a bit more, but it's all different tones anyway because it's distinctive. So that is that. Then we need our little bird house. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to stick with Mossy Meadow and Crumb Cake for these, and I'm going to use my markers. I think we sometimes forget that markers can be used to ink up stamps. They're best on red rubber, but they do work on photopolymer as well. So And of course you could add, I could have used a darker photopolymer, sorry, a darker ink on top of my crumb cake using my markers for the trunk of the tree, and then get a bit of colour on that. But I didn't. So, quick huff, and my plan is that this will look like the summer version of the winter one. So there's our little birdhouse. And while I am doing that, where did I put it? There we are. Here is a real scrap of Whisper White, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I know I've still got the ground to do, because at the moment that tree is annoying me because it's floating in midair, and I don't like things that float in mid-air. Actually, I'm going to go this way round. There is method in my madness, honest gov. I think I might have gone a little high. Yeah, no, that'll do. I've just got the top of the L, so that is fine. So that's that done. Let me just do a quick bit of cleaning so that I don't end up leaning on these and then getting covered in the ink. So that's those done. Then we've got to do our ground. And our ground I'm going to do in Mossy Meadow again, which is what I did before. As ever, this is stained, not dirty. I might treat myself to a new one. I have got a new one and I just keep going, yeah, but it's working. So, Mossy Meadow for our shadow. And I'm going to go under the tree, onto the tree, and then kind of at a bit of an angle, just to give it a bit more ground. That's the word I'm looking for. Ground. So that is all the stamping we need to do for that card. So really quick to put together. And as I say, you can do it for autumn and winter and summer or spring, depending on when you want your foliage. And of course you could do the foliage in green to make it more summer. So don't be limited by what colour I'm using. Right, I need my trimmer and I need my picker banner punch. Picker punch banner. This I want to trim down to 3/4 of an inch, and I need to trim my background down as well. So this is going to be 3/4 of an inch, which is there. And it just, and I mean just, fits. This is already cut to an inch. Yes. Just checking. So, okay. I can trim that down a bit actually. I'm going to use the flag end, which is the same I used before. So I'm going to put my card in to the inch wide marker. I do like to just check from the back that it is actually square, and then punch. So that's that bit done. Then this I'm going to just trim down a wee bit, and then use the 3/4 inch, and I put it in upside down because then if I've put it in, if I've got stamping, I'll be able to see that there's stamping. You know, if I've done it too if I've done it too close. So I'm just going to bring it back a wee bit. There we go. So there we are. Life is beautiful. I was just laughing because Audrey has quite rightly said using a new chamois is like die cutting on new plates or starting a new set of dimensionals. Absolutely. And I have to say I have used my new plates on my new cut and emboss. I was brave. Just for you guys, I was brave. And some seal. And pop that on, so that's like that. Okay, so I need to trim this down because this is going to be the same size as the mat I'm going to put it on at the moment. So I'm going to come off this side because this side's already quite off. So I'm going to come off this side and I'm trimming it down. I'll have the dimensions on my website, but I'm going to trim it down to 3 3/4, and then I'm going to trim a wee bit off. Yeah, the top. And I'm going to do it by eye because I know roughly what 1/8 of an inch looks like. So that should be my usual size mat, or second layer mat. And I'm going to use crumb cake this time, so let's just check that that's about right. And it is, so that's good. Okay, so more seal. Just checking that it's lined up with the roller, and it is. So seal, you know, I'm still getting this technique, or using this technique. So you roll it, then you pull it back on itself, and that way you get the tape staying in the right place for your next roll. If you find that it's not in the right place, just roll it forwards a wee bit, but it's fine. But it's a really nice, I love this adhesive. Hello, Carol. I love this adhesive because it is actually, although it is permanent, it does have a little bit of forgiveness if you need it to. I'm not going to demonstrate on this. I will demonstrate on, although looking at it I might have to. It does actually have a little bit of wiggle room. Right, dimensionals for the back of this. Just 3, so 1, find life, there's life, 3. Barbara, yes, I'm with you on that. I hate getting it dirty. I have now accepted I'm probably going to get it dirty during a live. But because I do a lot of filming, I do have to keep clean grid paper for when I'm filming for my YouTube videos. Now, if we line up the edge of our card with the grip line, we can then line up the edge of my sentiment strip with a grid line too, as in also, and then this should therefore be straight. And then I can just, doesn't look straight, but hey, and then I can just trim it from the back. Yeah, no, it looks straight on the card. So that's all that matters. Then I've got a piece of Rococo Rose card, just to pick up on the colour of the blossom. I'm guessing this is kind of like a cherry blossom, in that cherry blossom often comes out before the leaves. Sorry, my brain is elsewhere. It is quite warm, and I know I shouldn't complain. I love warm weather, just not when I'm having to be indoors. And courtesy of the problems with Wi-Fi and power, I've got quite a lot to do today indoors. I'm going to enjoy going to the post office in my air-conditioned car. I might sit outside the post office for a prolonged period of time in my air-conditioned car. Okay, so I'm going to use some of the elegant faceted gems instead of, for this I used some of the in-colour dots, but for this I'm going to use the faceted gems. I'm not going to use the petal pink, although one could. I think I might use the white. So we've got clear and we've got white. The white will just be more opaque. So I'm going to pop one large one just there. So these are going to be really subtle, but the recipient will notice that they're there. And a friend of mine has this thing. Is the person you're sending your card to embellishment worthy? Which I think is a wonderful idea. So you only put embellishments on if they are embellishment worthy, as in the recipient is embellishment worthy. So there we are. Can I pick up the, yes, it's just picking up. Maybe if I come a little bit closer to the light, or maybe not, but it is just picking up those little sparkles. And then you can put whatever you want on the inside. Thank you, Anne. I'm glad you like it. So that is that. So let me just clear away the stamps, and then we're going to play with another new stamp set. Actually, new stamp set and dies. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Karen. I'm glad you like the colours of the card. I try, I don't always succeed. Although doing some of the challenges that I do, ooh, that's not in the right place at all. Doing some of the challenges that I do, even as a member of the design team, does mean that I have to use some very interesting colours that I would personally never use. But there we go. There are always ways round it. So let's just, you know, stamping off, for example. So if you're being asked to use really, really bright colours and you're not a really, really bright colour person, stamp off. Still the colours. Right, so that is Life is Beautiful. So let me just pop all that in its box, ready for blog posting. It may well be up tomorrow on the basis that I have nothing else prepared for tomorrow. Right, okay, so the next is a bundle from the August, December catalogue. And it is the Ornate Envelopes bundle. I know this is Christmas, but please don't think Christmas. I know, Barbara, the more I was not going to get that tree set, and yeah, it just snuck into my last order without me even noticing. So yes, I know this is Christmas, but these don't have to be. Just saying. And the envelope dies. Now, one of the reasons I specifically got these was because we have lots of envelope sizes across the world. I was concerned that this would only work on North American, and I'm wrong. I say that because some of our dies do only really work on North American sizes. So we have got 3x3. So this would cut your liner, but you've got your 3x3, and the idea would be that you pop it there and you have this bit continuing down, but you've still got your strip of glue. So that's the 3x3 size. I'm going to try and put these back roughly where they came. Then I've got a note card, or rather a note card envelope. And this is the size for the note card. Obviously it would come down a bit. This one goes even further into the envelope. You probably wouldn't need to extend down. You just cut it off. So that's that one. This one, if you are making anything from a paper pumpkin or one of our kits, this is the size you want. So let me grab, ooh, I know what I've got. Let me grab, I thought I had. Oh, no, that won't work. No, ignore me on that one. Let me see if I've got them in here. A different shape. Yes. So this is one of the paper pumpkins. So it's the 4.5 by 5, 5.5, 4.5 by 5.25. 8.5, 4.25 by 5.5. That's what I'm looking for. So this, I know this is lined anyway, should, ooh, there's interesting. Maybe this isn't 4.25 by 5.5. No, this is smaller. But if it was 5.5, this would be the right size for that. So if you're in North America, you have got the size you need. Best laid plans. This is what happens when you don't plan everything in advance. You just go a little off-piste. But yes, so that will fit North American envelopes, the standard envelope, and this will fit the international, it's technically a C6 envelope. So I just wanted to let you know that, so that you can buy with ease. There is also this piece, which I think is so that you can get the rickrack on the edge of your envelope. It is, yes, so you've got here, let me find something dark. That'll do. So I don't know if you can see here, we've got little marks. So this is so that you can rick-rack the end of your envelope, or your envelope flap. So you just line it up with the right envelope. So that was why I thought I would purchase it, so that I could tell you that it will work whether you are in a country that uses International A4 or North American letter. But having said that, I also wanted to play with it. So first thing I'm going to do is grab some of the Feels Like Frost paper. Now this is the one I had left over from last year, so it is very, very scrappy. But I thought, let's see, what have I got in here? Ooh, let's use the stripes. So I'm going to use this piece, and because I like you, I'm going to bring in my new toy and use the new plates even more. So you just pull the flaps down to get your full plate base, and it comes with a selection of plates. So you've got your standard base plate, which is plate 1, and you've got all these sandwiches here. So if you're using with a standard embossing folder, you use the standard base plate, and 2 number 3s. Look, there's a I don't know if you can see it. Can you see there in the reflection in my skylight? There's a snowflake. Anyhow, moving on, growing up and all those good things. Then we've got the number 2, because I'm going to be using a narrow die. Then the number 3 that I have already used is there. And then I'm going to use this die, and I'm going to get it so it's as central on those, on a line, I don't really mind which line, but as central on a line as possible. That looks about it. And then the other 3 plate. Now this is probably going to be shiny and into your screen, but bear with me. So, but Jane says it's a fab die set, definite to buy. Audrey says she was wondering about the sizes for our envelopes, and yes, we have been taken into account. My damaged plate. Hey ho. Right, so let's pop that back in there, and I'll just move that away for the moment. I will be using it again, but for the moment. So this is what we end up with. So it's a simple case of just trimming off the excess. Now, if I pop this into my envelope, it will actually fit, but I could, so if I pop it in, so the die comes to there and there. So let's see, if I actually allow for glue, I think you can trim straight across. I will trim straight across at that die mark, and I think there is sufficient paper showing to not use more paper than you absolutely have to. So this is going to be famous last words, of course, but let's see. Let us see. So if I pop that in there, no, so you will need to leave a little bit more if you want this to be up to the glue point. So, but for now we'll go with it. And I quite like that this is a fairly solid pattern. So what I'm going to do is bring out one of the other dies. And don't worry, I haven't gone mad. Well, I have, but I haven't. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pop this on here so that it's going to punch through the envelope. So let me bring back my cut and emboss and roll this out again. Now, with all die cutting machines, you are going to need to flip your plates occasionally to keep them flatter. And the general rule of thumb is if you can bounce them, you need to turn them over. Right, so let me just see. We're going to go in that. Gosh, that's going to be. It's going to be tight, but it's going to be all right. We have the width. So we've got the width on the gap, but not the width on the plate. But that's fine because I only want to use this width. So that looks central-ish. I could measure it. If I wasn't on a live, I would measure it. So, fingers crossed. Okay, so that's that. And we've got lots of little pieces, which is always good. Some of which have now embedded themselves in my plate, but that's all right. Okay, so let me pop that back in, because that will help keep body and soul in one place. Pick that up and pop it on the floor again. So we've got, it's cut reasonably well. The reason I say reasonably, I'm never a great fan of putting what I would classify as a straight die straight through. I like putting them at an angle, but obviously because of the width of the envelope, no, this is coming out all right. Because of the width of the envelope, putting it through anything other than straight was not an option. So they're coming out with a little bit of encouragement. If I had run it backwards and forwards, these would have come out without any problem at all. But they basically have come out without much of a problem. So, pop that die back from whence it came. And so we've now got our die cutting there. So I'm going to be adding this here. Now obviously we want to have it so that it's got glue where we want glue. Oh, Barbara, yes. Absolutely. Now, it's not an original thought of mine. Oh, look at this. You can tell I'm hot. It's not an original thought of mine. I picked it up from Rachel Tessman, who is a demonstrator in the US. And it was... Oh, that's the wrong one. That's Seal Plus. We don't need Seal Plus. I picked it up from her. So, yes, if they bounce... So if they're becoming convex, turn them over so that they're concave. It's counterintuitive, is all I would say. I would have said that you would want it to be the other way round. But no, it's not. Right, so I'm going to pop a few bits here, and then a few bits, let's see. Yeah, a few teeny weeny bits. Now you could use liquid adhesive if you would rather for this, but it's okay. I'm still getting those little bits of die cut stuck to my fingers. Right, so sticking to everything. Okay, so let's go into our envelope carefully. Square up ish, pop it down, and as I say, I know we've got this where we shouldn't have, and then we've got, now obviously if it's a more solid pattern, you would see all of the solid pattern. So there we are, a nice little envelope liner. So as far as I'm concerned, the envelope dies are worth the price of admission on their own. I'm just going to have something to drink because it's getting warmer. One of the problems with my studio is it goes right into the roof, so there's no insulation, so it's just battering down on slate tiles. Slate tiles are very good at absorbing heat. So I am a little warm, just saying, a little tiny bit warm. Okay, so let's have a look at the stamp set. So we've got lines for the address, if you want to handwrite your address. We've got these bits, which you can put on your smaller envelopes. So let's have a look at those. Where did my 3x3 envelope go? Oh, under my embossing plate. So here's my 3x3 envelope. Yeah, they would work fine. So I'm going to pull out this one, and let's see, I will grab, ooh, I wonder, actually, no, that's the one I want. I'm going to go Mossy Meadow, and actually no, I will use my long thin H block flap. So going back to bouncing plates, so this is Mossy Meadow. Since I picked up the tip about bouncing plates, I have not had nearly as many issues with my plates. So it is really a great idea, and not mine. So let's then take, oh, there's a breeze. Oh. Okay, so this should pretty much, without the cat hair, line up. Don't think it lines up, I think it just hovers again. So we'll go for hovering. And let's go neutrals but Christmas with Mossy Meadow. Oh no, this is Cherry Cobbler. What was I meaning Mossy Meadow? I meant Merry Merlot. I've gone Cherry Cobbler. So this is going to stain my stamp really nice bright pink. But that's okay. I don't mind. So there we go. Pretty. But that also lines up, I think that lines up probably better with this stamp, looking at it. But it works okay with this one. So, yeah. Right, so I said that would stain my stamp. I will show you just how quickly it stains your stamp. Don't know if you can see that. It's probably better. But it's fine. It's what I would call clean dirt, not dirty dirt. Now, in the catalogue, there is a really nice sample. And I think we're on page 40. I might be wrong. Yes. So there's this really nice sample here, which uses, I think, uses the Stamparatus, and I thought we would have a bit of fun and see if we could get it to work. I have not tried this, so who knows? Right, my phone is spiraling. It's a bit Yes, Barbara, I get fussy about cleaning stamps as I go as well. If I'm doing lots of stamps, you know, lots of stamping in a row, then I won't. But otherwise I will. Right, okay, so let us see if we can work out how to do a square, which may or may not work well. I'm going to use, actually I might as well use crumb cake, which is what they used on the original. So let me grab some crumb cake. That should be big enough. So I'm going to do it square. Oh, that's actually a card base. Okay. Won't be using that then. Is it a card base? Oh no, it was something that went wrong. Ah! I think it was meant to be a card base and oh, there's a breeze. Oh, that's bliss. I'll use this piece and cut it down. Oh, that was wonderful. Right, okay. Just saying it's incredibly warm. Right. Let me trim this down. It's, I scored it in the wrong place, clearly. Wendy, one is never late to these things. Oh, and everything... Sorry, everything went wrong. Do you know what I would say about... So, I know some of you are demonstrators, and that's great. I love that anyone joins my things. It's great. But here's the thing. When things go wrong, and those of you who aren't demonstrators, please back me up with this. When things go wrong, what it shows, assuming you manage to work it out, is that we're only human and that everyone makes a mistake. So as I say, I'm hoping that those of you who are not demonstrators will back me up on that. But I think it's really important to keep going if you go wrong, just so that others know that it's okay. Right, how am I going to do this? How am I going to work this out? I think we're going to go there. So this, I'm doing this purely by eye. What I probably need, actually, let's be sensible. I'm going to do this by eye, but not. So, let me grab, I have a piece of grid paper here. So, let's get rid of my square of card for the moment. And, other than, I want to know how big it is. I'm glad, Audrey, that the sun is trying to come out. Right, so, sorry, I was just reading comments, which is terribly rude, really. So this is roughly 11 centimetres, and this is cat hair, everywhere, cat hair. This is roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. So, let's see what happens if I go there. I can already see where I'm going horribly wrong with this idea, but bear with me. So that's there, and this is where I've gone horribly wrong with that idea. What I need to do is to cut my piece of grid paper, which has earned its keep already. It's got ink on it. Right, so that's that one. So if I then twist it by a quarter turn, will this... Ooh, pretty much. So that's that. Quarter turn. What we might just need to do is move it out a tiny weeny bit more. Or did they overlap? Very interesting, because they definitely used this stamp. And it's one of those things that I like to try and work these things out. They overlapped them. That's what they did. They overlapped them. Okay, but more than I've overlapped it. Right. We will get there. Don't you love that I've got nothing prepared? I say nothing prepared. I had Life is Beautiful prepared, and I had my envelopes prepared. Okay, so we're going to move this in a bit. Actually, I'm going to use that side again, because that's the side where I know where everything is. So let's move in a wee bit. Now, I have in the past, and I can't for the life of me remember where they are, done templates for these things, so that you can stamp things in the round. No idea where they are. I'm going to have to watch my own video to find out how to do it. How sad is that? Ooh, that's a bit better. It's going to be more elliptic than circular, I think, but I think we're going to win. I think. Yes, it's almost square rather than circular, but it's good. We're good to go. Okay, so there we are. That's how you sort it out. So, yeah. Hi, Renee. Jan's joined. Claire's joined. B has joined. I'm guessing some of you dropped out because some of you have already been here. So if you missed the question that I was posing, so Wendy does tutorials, and she was saying that she was having problems with the one she was recording this morning, and I was saying that I would leave it, because so long as you work out how to do it in the end, then that's kind of better, because it shows other people that we're only human. I'm never that happy about curling the edge of the stamp, because I can't guarantee that I'll get it right every time. And it may come unstuck, because although you can bend photopolymer stamps, they can decide that they've got a life thank you and that they're going to do what they want to do. So yes, but I'm kind of loath to. And this kind of works. It kind of works. Good enough for jazz. As I say, somewhere, and I'll try and find the video that I did on how to make these templates that you can use, where you just cut a piece of card and put the card in the middle and just turn the card. I will try and find it and link it both from my website and in the description bar below this video when it goes on YouTube. So yes, I will try to find that for you. Oh, I need to get some better tape. I need to get some electrical tape or something, or duct tape. So we've got our in inverted commas circle, and that was stamped in Mossy Meadow. So we can clean our stamp. There's my stamp cleaner. I don't know why I do know why I've taken those off. So what I'm now going to do is grab my dots, my cherry cobbler flavoured dots, and line this up in roughly the same place. Remove that stamp, pick this stamp up, and then, because I've got it, I'm going to use my embossing buddy. Yes, that's where they'll be, Audrey. They will be under the whatchamacallit by the thingamajig. Wendy, I'm not quite sure what you mean by electrical works great. Barbara, plugging in your computer, that's the sort of thing I forget to do too. We are, after all, only human. Right, I need my white embossing powder and then my Versamark. So, Versamark ink, stamp. Now I'm going to have to pray that because the weather is so hot that this won't dry quicker than I need it to. So some of our dots are going to overlap. And then our last turn. Right, I'll take that out, pop it to one side, grab, oh gosh, there's a thought. Oh, electrical tape, yes, it will. We've got some somewhere, just don't know where. Yeah, so because it's so hot, some of my Versamark has dried, so I'm going to heat emboss this, then I'll bring back in the Stamparatus and ink up again. Hey, let's introduce more heat into the equation. That was just what I needed, a blast of really hot air. Okay, so let's bring in our Stamparatus again. Pop that to one side. And so that area is a bit dubious, so let's pop magnets down. So these two are the really not very well stamped bits, or heat embossed bits. Come on. That's a bit better. And I'm going to do something I don't normally like doing, which is putting it back in knowing that the stamp is going to hit the same place and not having heat embossed. So I may take out some of... Can Embosser go off? It can. Yes, embossing powder can go off. So if you're having problems... Now, which colour are you having problems with, Audrey? That's better. It's not perfect, but it will do for this. So yes, is it all of your powders or just a particular colour? I say colour. The gold definitely can be very independent, I think is the word I would use. It has a mind of its own. And if you overheat it, it goes really nasty. as Barbara said, yes, it can. So I've had most of mine in those tubs for about a couple of years. Hi, Nicole. So they're right on the edge. The gold in particular is right on the edge of going off. Right, so we have our, whatever this is, piece of square cardstock. I'm going to cut it down because it's an annoying size for me. Don't like this size. So, probably just going to cut it down. Where's my little ruler? All of them. So yeah, what I would suggest, Audrey, is get one new pot and then see if everything is the same. You know, if that then works, I would then it's technique probably. Right, so I'm going to go for about 3.5 inches. So half of 3.5 is 1.5 of 2 3/4. So this is my 2 3/4 lines, which this is roughly the middle of where my image is. So I'm going to cut everything using that as the starting point. So 2 3/4 is about there. And then I can do my 3.5. It's not going to be perfect. Was that 3.5? Yep. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. Oh, absolutely make sure your Versamark is juicy. I think it was one of our recent Facebook Lives where someone, not naming names, Audrey, realised that you could re-ink your Versamark. Thank you, Barbara. It's, yeah, as I say, it's quite warm. Right, okay, so we are going to do, let's see, where's my Regals? There's my Regals. Let me grab, oh, let's go real red. I've got a bazillion bits of real red, so I'm going to cut this down to a square. Yeah, I can do that with my mini chopper, because this is 3 7/8, so I can just chop that, and then that can go there. And then what I want is, do I have it out? No. Can I find it easily? Probably. It's not that one I want. I do have it out, I just can't see it. Where have I buried my pack of Underpaper Pumpkin? So I want the 'Tis the Season, which has real red in it. Does it have Mossy Meadow? It doesn't actually have Mossy Meadow, but I'm fine with that. You can use glycerin. Personally, would I in an emergency? I might be persuaded. I might be persuaded. I think I'd rather see if I can find a Versamark refill, but I think you could, yes. Ooh, that might work. No, no it won't. No, change plan, that won't work. That will work. Or that would work. I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go deer. It's the wrong green, but my green is on crumb cake, so no one's going to know. I think this is garden green. It's garden green and shaded spruce, I think, the colours in this pack. So this is the 'Tis the Season. Yeah, garden green and shaded spruce. So no one's going to know that it should have been, that I've used Mossy Meadow. So this, ooh, I'm going to change my dimensions again. Aren't I irritating? So I'm going to trim this down to 3 3/4. There is method in my madness. So that's 3 3/4, and then I want this to be 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. And let's see what I've got in blanks. Oop, no, don't want that. I have garden green, so that will work fine. There's now a great discussion going on about whether glycerin works as Versamark. I mean, it can. I think one of the ingredients in Versamark is something that's very close to glycerin. So I don't think it will do it any harm, but I think you would miss whatever the other secret ingredient is. So again, I'm going to be putting small bits of seal around the edge of my piece of paper. And we do need to make sure that our deer are the right way up. And almost square. Almost, just not quite. Okay. So that's going to go on there with a little... Oh, no, I'm going to trim it down some more. It's going to lose some more. So let me just make sure I know how big this is. 3 1/2. Although I could trim a little bit more off that, couldn't I? Might take a tiny slither of a something off. Let's take a 1/16. And dare I say, this is quite often how I actually make things. I just, you know, so that was 3 1/2 less a 1/16, so we can go to there. Yep. Right. Those bits are rubbish. So that's going to go on there really nicely. That's then going to go on there really nicely. Then we're going to have something there. No, actually, I'm going to kind of ignore that and have something up here, I think. Now, this stamp set does not have sentiments in it. Just saying. So, let's see what I have reasonably to hand. No. Oh, that'll do, because that is for the banner set. Right. So we will use, so this is Banner Year, Christmas Wishes. Christmas Wishes, sticky photopolymer. And we're on white, so I can use, oop, that will probably be, yep. Just want to see whether I've got a piece that is 1/2 inch. That's near enough 1/2 inch wide. That will fit. Right. Okay. Real red ink. Let's stain another stamp. Now, actually what I'm going to do, because some people say this works, to help reduce your staining. So that was Versamark. So let's see whether that has helped reduce the staining on my stamp by putting it in Versamark first. It is probably better. Not perfect, but I think it is probably better. Right, so banner punch back. So, should we go that way? Yeah, let's go that way. Opening your punch is always a good idea. Right, I'm actually going to just trim this down first, so I know that this is roughly the same space at each end, although now I've trimmed a wee bit too much off. Right, so pop that in there. This is slightly smaller than ½ an inch, so definitely one you're going to want to look at the back to see that you're reasonably square. And I need a piece of real red, and then we're basically done. And then we could do things like prize draws and all that good stuff. Is that? Oh, that's scored, so that is not going to work. That's long enough, we just have to trim it down. Alright, so I need this to be 3/4 of an inch wide. Should just about be right with that. Let's see what happens. I might be tempted to bring it back a wee bit. Can always take off more. Adding it back on is more interesting. Yeah, need to take off a little bit more. So that should be good. Yep, that'll do. Right, okay, so what I also want is that box. And those. Right, we are nearly there, folks. Hurrah! I hear you say. Right, so, do remember that when it's warm, your glue is a lot runnier. There we go. Press that down. Tape. Then we can do all the exciting stuff like prize draws. Ooh. Getting cack-handed. Right, dimensionals. And just a few of these dotted around. Don't have to put on many, you can have just a few. And there is our Christmas card. So we've got that, we've got our envelope, and our trees. So that's our today's. Thank you, Margaret, for sharing. Right, so prize time. So the prize for this week, so this will run for 2 weeks, so you can share either today or any time between today and a fortnight. I know it's a Christmas one, I'm so sorry. So, Itty Bitty Birthdays, this is a current stamp set. I happened to have ordered an extra one. So, Itty Bitty Birthdays is the prize for this this video. So if you share it, that will be the prize unless you're overseas. And then the winner of the 28th of July Facebook Live, which was the prize is Make a Splash, is Claire Sutton. Sutton Steele. No, it was Claire Steele. What am I talking about? Not Claire. It's Karen Sutton. Claire Steele. So Karen, this is Claire. It's the heat. This will be winging its way to you. If you can just drop me an email to confirm you haven't moved in the recent past, I will get this out to you as soon as I've got your address. So, in fact, I think I'll have your address anyway, because I might even have something going to you today, thinking about it, in which case that will be fine. I'll add it in. So, there we are. Thank you very much indeed for watching today. Thank you for your ongoing support. Do remember that Paper Pumpkin can be ordered now. Thank you, Nora, for saying well done. Yes, it is quite hot at the moment. Currently in my studio it is 29.6 degrees centigrade. Just saying. So there's no surprise that things are literally sticking to me. Anyway, at least we had power and Wi-Fi. So thank you very much indeed. Fingers crossed we will have power and Wi-Fi come next week. And I will look forward to seeing you all then. As I say, if you're watching on either Facebook Live replay or YouTube, do remember to share with shared in the comment, and then I will enter you to win, or enter you to the draw. That video is now live, and for those of you who want to know about the spot challenge this week, good, glad you haven't moved. I will get it out to you. This week's spot challenge is either a scrapbook page or a mini album. So do have a look at that, and we will see how things go. Thank you very much, and I will say goodbye for today. So bye-bye. If you're on YouTube, do remember to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe.